Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 5th of December. So looking at the euro dollar, and it's becoming clear that there is no trend now. It's chopping along. At one stage it was sort of, well, okay, yes, it's potentially still in this downward trend, etc. on a weekly, daily point of view. But on a day, when you look at the intraday basis, and these last three bars, there's little to really be splitting. They're going back up to previous highs. It's quite a range-bound market, and it may stay this way for a while. So we have to trade that range. Now sometimes that may mean buying into this market. I don't really like the idea. My preference would be on the short side most of the time for both the pound and the euro, so which makes it difficult sometimes. Here, well, I would like to see this daily pivot ticked off, move up towards that sort of area. It's double bottomed where it's been. Doesn't really seem to have the momentum at the moment. If you get towards that point, well, that would be a decent halfway point of starting to consider shorting, with the key moving averages there, the 50, 200, the 500, the 100, they're all bunched up there, and that just shows you on this time frame, this is actually a 30-minute, not a 60-minute, just shows you how there we go, it's still all bunched up around it, how sideward this market's been going for the moving averages to become flat. So I don't really like shorting it yet. If it can pitch up towards that sort of area, it may be an opportunity to sell into back towards the lows in the S1, but not an easy one to determine which way it's going to go because of the very fact it is so sideways. The pound, another one, is I do like selling into any rallies. We saw this yesterday. I think this may have low. It's still putting lower highs in general. Yesterday we saw that rally, which was sort of out of order in a sense. But it just, if you look on this 4-hourly, it's not so much out of order. It's only ran into last week's highs. Yes, it's a bit messy on the dailies there because it's pitched up a little bit higher. But again, it just ran into the daily 21. So it has got the monthly pivot, and yes, it may target that at some point, but unless there's some miracle, I think with Brexit, this is still looking like the uncertainty may be the main draw. Now again, we may have a move up towards the daily pivot here this morning, and that depending on what happens, of course, both for the euro and the pound, as they get up there in terms of reaction, to me, my preference is to be on the short side. But if you look at the range, it's only halfway up the range, so that's why I say it depends on what happens when it gets there. So there is a potential, maybe even for a trade on euro or the pound back towards these if there's enough points in there. The risk rewards right when you get if you get any triggers setups. So there is a potential for that. Otherwise, if you just sit there patient, just be careful, see what happens. So if it pushes on through, well, chances are 200 may even stay within range again today. It was a difficult one yesterday. The news coming from the European Court of Justice, sort of pitching up, pushing us, stopped us twice through that price action, what happened and the follow through. But we got the last bit. we finally got it right, which is all that matters. Small stops, big rewards. That's what we're looking for. So there we go. Dollar yen. Dollar yen is the answer here. Thoughts here. It has had a little bounce here, which it didn't. To me, it was risk. It was all about risk yesterday, and in the end, in the afternoon, and we saw that in terms of money running back to the yen again, whilst the other markets were softening. Bit of a bounce this morning so far. I'm not sure. I mean, it's put a lower high, lower lows, and it's almost a case of trying to find somewhere to sell it at the moment in terms of the sort of intermediate picture that sits here. But I have it down once the risk is going. I have it down for more upside. So we'll see how it runs. But again, it isn't an easy market to read here with the choppiness that and the sideward price action and the tighter ranges that we're going. If that was the low yesterday, well, there's a tighter low running across here in this range, and it may just chop in that range further. Aussie dollar, long-term star. No more though. It's closed its gap. Yesterday it started selling off towards it pretty much. Well, actually pretty much closed it yesterday. We've seen a follow through this morning through to the weekly pivots on jitters again around the Chinese and US talks. That might even work through in the next day or so back to that monthly pivot. It was always the case. It could do. Now, good news, I think, good news on this pairing is if it does start taking off, then we've got more, it may get a bit more bang for your buck from it, but at the moment it's looking soft. Look at this lovely hammer on the 4-hourly, and it may just put a bottom in here onto this weekly pivot, and it may get back, push back up there, but it's already done a huge range for it, so it makes it more difficult to trade. It's trading back within the range. It may just get back to something like the 60-21. If we see the markets rallying, then it could be, as I say, could just give an extra bit of bang. Canadian dollar's following back into the footsteps of, I mean, yesterday it just bounced there, softening, keeping in with that trend, looking to pitching towards that monthly R1 maybe, which would tie in with the prior highs pretty much. Double bottom yesterday. Yep, it's come up. It's pretty much filled the gap now. So all these gaps filled, they do get in the way, but there we go. They're well worth trading for at some point. So they're there. Now, yeah, it's slowing down all the way up here. Look at the smaller bars here. Has got the daily pivot below. If it does, if we do see any strength coming through these markets, well, like with the euro and the pound running towards daily pivots, this may pull down back towards its daily pivot. So pretty same-ish story there. Today we got Draghi speaking at 8:30. We've had the Aussie GDP, which came out disappointingly at 0.3 down on the forecast, so quite a big drop there. UK services, very important number for the pound generally. I say very generally and very important. The factor is Brexit's overshadowing most things, but generally with services PMI would be quite key. And then Canada, we got the for 3 PM this afternoon, we got the Bank of Canada rate statement. So there is plenty to be going at there. So have a great day. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.